rear tire, especially through turn one. This final corner here, you see the car puts a ton of energy to the left side. These are high speed, highly committed corners that just abuse that left side tires, and therefore he's just definitely thinking about taking care of that left rear.
Yep, no doubt about it. So through the first sector we go, and this is what we're used to seeing in these sort of longer form races. About 45 minutes in total we're expecting from lights out to the checkered flag. And it's going to be interesting to see how this one will work out, because you end up with a bit of a slower start to the race, but then it really comes alive at the end as you get the divergence in strategies. What we're expecting, about 8 laps or so on the soft compound of tyre, whereas on the medium side they'll go a little bit longer, but of course they don't have the same pace underneath them. They're about 0.8 to a second or so a lap slower than them. Of course, everyone's on the same compound of tyre now, but are you going to get someone maybe diving into the pits early? If they can eke those soft tyres out just a lap or two longer, that could be the difference between winning a race and losing it.
Yeah, who's willing to be the riskiest and be first on those soft tires is really the game here right now, is how far do you want to push these mediums, and then how early do you dare get on those softs and hope that they can last as the field compresses again down in the backstretch chicane. There's 10A, 10B into the final corner. You can just see how the draft keeps these cars so compacted right now, and it just puts the pressure on someone like Donovan Parker, who's trying to run his race, focus on his lines, hitting his marks right now, but knowing that if he has any mistake there off of turn 7, they're there to pounce.
Gr.3 on the back, on the back of Lanuza. The problem is, though, it's such a one-line first sector here, though, isn't it? You can't find your way through there.
Well, we saw the pass he made into turn 1, which was excellent, but once you get to turn 2 or 3, it'd be a massive mistake by the driver in front of you if you're going to get there. Here's Simon Rosenberger down in, this is how he got into Haywood, just outbroke himself. Haywood was an innocent bystander there, turned into the corner already. You can see him shaking his head. It's not what you want to do.
No, big disappointment there for Randall Haywood, and you wonder whether the stewards might be taking a look at that. I have to say, also for Subaru and for Danny Solis, it's not going his way at all. He's 5 seconds now off the back of Simon Rosenberger. Made that 10 seconds. He's clearly made another mistake on this lap, and he's just dropping like a stone, and clearly he is struggling out there on the circuit, and that's not what Subaru needed, because this could be a race that if they finish down there, they'll of course be scoring no points, and it could cost them the lead of the championship going into the World Finals. On board here, or looking rather, I should say, Adriano Carrazza in 3rd position, and Helena Stroza sitting there in P4 for now. You can see the tyre wear at the moment. First chance really to look at it. The front-engined rear-wheel drive cars actually looking pretty even compared to some of the mid-engined rear-wheel drive layouts that we've got. The sort of big outlier really is Donovan Parker, who's got a bit less rear tyre relative to the other drivers who were close behind.
And he told us that's what he was worried about with this Ferrari, and sure enough, it's showing up right now. You can see there was only 2 cars that were below the 70 percentile there on the rear tires, and he was one of them, down at 68 as we got off that graphic. So definitely abusing those rear tires right now, and that means he's just having to drive that car as delicately as he possibly can. You're trying to basically extract speed, but just not slide the rear tires, not put energy through the rear tires. It's an incredibly tough thing to do no matter what race car you're driving. And a racetrack like this, where it's putting a lot of energy through those rear tires, you just have to try and drive that car as straight as possible.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Looking here then at Adriano Carrazza, we ride on board as he has got a face full of Noah Lanuza. We come down this back straight. Enestrosa and Cardinal sitting pretty close there behind and just doing a good job of keeping them honest. So for some of these teams here, Parker, looking at the standings going into this one, of course Subaru, as we know, they lead it by 2 points over the BMW. Nissan though, they're only half the points away from Subaru, for Mazda, for Porsche. There's a great opportunity for some teams to capitalise here.
There is, especially what we saw in qualifying. That was really what opened everything up for a lot of these teams that have struggled in the first 2 events to have this chance in the 3rd event. As we look at Carrazza, look at the inside, Lanuza again, he's been doing that lap after lap, just poking that nose here into 3. Not really a passing attempt as much as a message. Hey, I can get there if I want to. I can put that little bit of pressure, and he now falls a little bit back as we go through the S's. He's definitely stronger through that turn 1, turn 2 complex, but does sort of lose a bit of time as we go through the S's into 6 and 7.
Yeah, coming down this straight then into double apex right hand. Let's have a look at another moment here for Danny Solis. We know he's been all at sea. And he had a spin, just got onto the curb, and well, that's dropped him now 15 seconds off the back of the rest of the field. I mean, look, he's laughing because there's nothing else you can do. Nothing else you can do. It's such a shame there for Danny Solis. We know he's a very competitive driver. We know he's got the ability to be at the sharp end of the field. in these Gran Turismo World Series events. We've seen it. You don't become a two-time champion for nothing, but clearly on his return, maybe just nerves, something along the lines of that he's just not performing here tonight, and ultimately it's costing his team.
I just love how you see these battle trains occur in these GT3 cars, and it's not dissimilar to real life. You see this all the time, having raced in GT3 before earlier this year at the Rolex 24 in Sebring. It was like this all the time. You're in these trains of cars. The way these cars are, it's just they're so closely aligned. The BOP matching does a great job of creating the performance be so close between the cars, and you get in these trains like this, and it's such an intense form of racing.
You've got sort of a race of two halves here at the moment, haven't you? You've got the first group of 7 drivers who are all, you know, half a second or so relative from one another. Then you've got another 4.5 seconds back to Randall Hayward, who's then got Philo, Jeffrey and Rosenberg relatively close behind. So it's interesting to see how this race is going to play out. And again, I wonder for the strongest start to this race whether they might try and do a different strategy. This is Philo's move, meanwhile, on Randall Hayward, coming down and in towards that chicane. Nicely done. Used the advantage of the slipstream, took to the inside, and then got through and took that position quite nicely there for him.
Yeah,
so
for these top 3 championship leading teams, manufacturers, they're looking at no points right now, especially that gap between them and the next set of cars, which are the points. So it's going to be, they've got to get going.
Yeah, points are only down to 6th position. And look how tight it now is at the sharp end of this race. Delighted to welcome to the commentary box former champion in the Gran Turismo World Series, Igor Fraga, no less. Igor, great to have you here. First of all, I've got to ask, what do you think of this race? Because it looks like it's going to bubble up to be quite a nice one. I mean, you've got 7 drivers separated by a hair's breadth.
Yeah, so like all the cars' performance, all the drivers' performance have been being really, really close since qualifying. I think Mercedes nailed the qualifying, but the pace, the race pace itself, it's been really, really similar, and all of them are trying to kind of stay together in the pack, so they have a chance at the end of the race to really like gain some positions.
What's the key going to be able to win this race? If you're sat there now, for example, you're Adriano Corazza, you're not leading the race, but you're in a good position. How do you turn this race into something that you can win? Yeah,
so I think Donovan Parker's pace has been really good, so everyone is following him. So it's going to be difficult to do something right now, to be honest. Maybe I'll try to do something just before going to the pits and changing tires. So after I'm back onto the track, then I can stay behind the fastest car of the race, basically.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out then here for Donovan Parker. You've got Noah Lanuza there, who's in 2nd position at the moment. In terms of tyre wear, do you think there could be a particular factor in this race? Do you think, maybe somebody who could eat their tyres out for a lap or 2 longer, that might come into play?
Yeah, probably yes. I think we have a different type of cars running. Also, we are considering that the cars are slipstreaming each other, so maybe they are being able to, some of the car being able to manage better the tires, so this could come and play later in the race as well.
So I'm listening to everything you're saying. Do you think Lanuza right there is sort of hanging out behind Donovan Parker at this time, just using that draft out the back straightaway, knowing the speed of the Ferrari, taking care of his tires a little bit? As we look at the tires right now, Donovan Parker down in the 40s for both front and rears.
Yeah, I think Donovan is trying to push as hard as he can. Probably his race pace is good, but then it's hurting its tires, and then all the guys behind is being able to save a lot of tires. You can see, especially P2 and P3 having very good tire wear on the rears, and this probably will come in play later in the race, in the strategy and everything.
Look at Corazza, 64 on the rear tires.
Yeah,
right
that's really
impressive.
good. Yeah, that's really good, and especially considering it's a Supra, so it used to be a lot harder to keep the tires in a good shape, so he's doing definitely a really good job there.
Yeah, you can see they're just sort of sitting there waiting for the right opportunity to pounce at this particular point of the race. We're coming towards that first pit window. Really, again, the tyres, they're getting warm, but they're not quite at that level. But given another lap, maybe another couple of laps or so, and we might see the first drivers beginning to blink. You would imagine, given the difference in tyres, especially for Donovan Parker and his rear tyres, that he's going to be boxing before anybody else in this race.
I don't know, to be honest, because Ferrari has great traction. So right, even if the car has good tire, more tire wear, maybe it can keep up with the pace because the Ferrari itself have like really good traction.
And that's a great answer, because not knowing anything about strategy, that you fit right in up here today here.
Yeah, because the thing is, they're always shown like, you know, the predicted strategy, but there's always drivers that come up with the crazy ideas and different strategy that is not even shown, and they can do like really well.
Wait, you're saying race car drivers being crazy?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Going down this back straight then here, looking at Donovan Parker, then Noah Lanuza, then Adriano Carrazza, who's just sitting there in third place. Ina Strozer a couple of laps ago, who's in fourth at the moment, got a bit of a warning for contact with another car, so it must have had a bit of a tap into the back of Adriano Carrazza. Carrazza has a sort of half look there to the inside to the chicane, but the door's not quite ajar enough for him to walk through right now.
And he's doing that still out of turn one. I watched him do it the lap before as well. He's